was listening to this guy who has a weekly radio show. It's on Sirius XM, and who he is isn't really important, but I was listening to this guy, and he has a habit. His whole demeanor is kind of like he considers himself to be like Mr. Positivity and Mr. Happy, right? He's fucking just grating. And this guy, so I don't know how to explain this without really going into detail about who he is. It doesn't really matter, I guess. It's just that one thing about him is that, you know, he lives somewhere pretty nice. He has a good amount of money. He has several successful businesses, right? And this guy isn't unique. There are other people that are like this and do this too, but, you know, he talks all the time about how great life is. He talks sometimes about how great his life is specifically, but he also does a lot of this fucking happy hippie shit about, oh, life is wonderful and everything is so good and people are so great. And he does this kind of shit all the time, and it grates on my fucking nerves. And I couldn't figure out exactly what it was I didn't like about him, aside from the overall tone. And it dawned on me the other day that this dude, his life may be, you know, fucking picture perfect as he represents it. And maybe it's not. Maybe he just says that. It doesn't matter, though. His life may be great, but it's the way that he talks about how everything is so wonderful all the time and how he kind of brags about himself. He doesn't do it in a bragging way. He doesn't say, like, everything I have is wonderful and everything you have sucks. He doesn't do it like that. He just talks about how everything he has is so great and how there's so much opportunity and fucking everything out there. And the guy, I don't want to say the guy's delusional. He's not necessarily delusional. Everything he sees is wonderful because he has money and he has connections and he's already got a bunch of established wealth, so there probably is a lot of opportunity in his eyes everywhere. What he does that I don't like about it is the way he brags about it. And again, this is not unique to any YouTuber, TikToker, fucking IG, or other, I guess, radio personalities, right? There are a lot of people that do this. They talk about, oh, you can do this and be so successful. And that stuff, I'm not sure if people watch it like it's porn. You know, I don't really understand exactly why they do that. Like, maybe if you're in a very specific field and somebody else is in a very specific field, you are already really good at what you do in your field. You might watch their video because there might be some things that you can pick up on. But usually, when people are really like, you know, these guys like say that they're really good at real estate. And like, I'll tell you all these tricks and I'll show you how I make all this money and my money makes me money. And, you know, stuff like that. But usually if there's anything really good or unique, they're not actually going to tell you. Nobody really gives away the insider secrets. And nobody really mentions some of the more intricate stuff that you have to do because, you know, that's giving away their success. Nobody really does that. So I don't understand why people watch people like that. But still, just in general, a lot of people do this, but I think it is bragging. Sounds like bragging to me. And, you know, one thing that you don't do when you have a lot of, not even a lot of success, but when you have, when you have a lot of success, when you have a lot of stuff, right? You got a really nice car, really nice, you know, fucking other physical stuff, TV, etc., nice house. You live in a great area where you have, you know, virtually no crime and etc. One thing you don't do is you don't throw that in everybody's face. Now, this is the way that I was raised, so I don't know how some of these other people were raised. I don't know how much of this is just the terrible digital age that we live in where this shit is encouraged all the time, where you're encouraged to flaunt your material success because it means more than anything else. And I don't even agree with that, but I know a lot of people, even I think a lot of other people don't agree with that, but they can't help being taken by it when they see it. Like, oh man, this fucking guy's got all these nice cars, or he is fucking, you know, apartments or houses in all these major cities across the country or across the world because he's so successful. And, you know, this dude's got everything, or this girl, whatever. I don't measure success that way, but I think a lot of people do, or a lot of people get caught up in the moment, and at that time they do. But I was raised differently, that you don't throw shit into other people's faces. You know, like, it's like if you're really strong, right? Some people are just born naturally strong, right? And if you're really strong, you don't need to beat up weak people all the time to prove that you're strong. Somebody who does is considered a bully, and also considered, you know, I mean, we used to consider people like that low IQ also. But what's the point, right? If you're born like 6'6", 250, naturally muscular, you don't need to go around beating up people that are like 5'5". Right? That's just ridiculous. It really doesn't show any strength. It just, like I said, kind of shows you're a piece of shit. And it's the same thing that when you're rich, you know, or you get lucky for whatever reason, whether you're, even if you're self-made, but especially if the money you have and the luck comes from inheriting it from your family, you don't need to throw that in people's faces. I mean, that's just, like I said, that's just the way that I was raised. It doesn't really make any sense. It makes you a bully, and it's just, I mean, it's not nice, and it doesn't serve any purpose. I mean, unless you're singling out one person because you're trying to destroy them internally, trying to make them fucking snap, but that's a whole nother thing. Other than that, you don't just do that. You just don't do that, right? And listening to this guy on the radio and observing some of these people on YouTube and TikTok and all that other bullshit made me think about why this country is getting fucked so hard right now. Because we're essentially a success story, and much of that success was self-determination. But we threw that success, not me, I'm going to have to use the collective we, though, to talk about this, but I really don't feel that it was me or people like me that did this. But we threw that success around throughout the world for so fucking long that everybody fucking now hates us. I mean, they seriously hate us. I was watching a video just this morning of eight migrants that robbed a jewelry store. Just went in there, and there's some woman and her daughters that ran the place and slapped them around and cleaned out their entire store. 8 fucking people at once. I mean, people are coming here now in fucking droves, in groups, that hate us. And a lot of them don't hate us on the surface. Indians are a good example of this. A lot of them don't hate us on the surface, they hate us underneath, but that's even fucking worse. But the people that hate us on the surface that come here are a lot of these Central and South American migrants, right? Hate us or resent us, and they certainly don't come here to embrace some American dream. That's an idea from the 50s, maybe 60s, or further back. That's not a modern idea. It's really not, because it doesn't exist anymore. You can't work a mid-level skilled labor job and own a house and a couple of cars and support a wife and several children or something like that. Doesn't even exist in this country anymore. It hasn't for a while. So it's not, they don't come here for that. They come here because they feel that we are exploitable. And when they think of the U.S. as trying to take our perspective out of it, when they think of our country, they think of the bully who has been fucking with them their whole life, who they now finally have a chance to return a little bit of a shot to. And they're going to keep taking those shots. And then you have the ones that don't hate us on the surface. They say that they, you know, really like us, love us, want to be here, want to be a part of us. Those are the people like the Indians. But the truth is, they fucking hate us too. They hate us too. It's just the way that they are going to take what we have is different. Yeah, like, doesn't matter, I guess. Being specific about that doesn't matter. The point is just that when you throw shit in people's face all the time. Now, again, I say I don't believe that I did this on a personal level. I don't believe that people like me did this on a voting or a political level. And again, maybe there aren't too many people like me. But this is what our government, and for what it's worth, the reflection of us personally through our media and Hollywood, has shown the world over the last however many decades. So maybe we didn't do it personally, but this is essentially what we've done. Part of this also has to do with having a strong military, and then having a military-backed opinion about shit that happens everywhere in the country. Everywhere in the world. So whenever something happens somewhere that we don't like, and then we threaten to either A, cut off money, or B, send in the military, and they know that we have the ability to do either one of those things to shape how events happen in other parts of the world, other countries, places that we aren't really supposed to have anything to do with, then they get resentful. And I get it. But everybody needs to get that through their fucking head, that we cannot have people coming into this country right now, because we have been acting essentially like bullies and little rich kids bragging about their shit for far too long, and these people fucking hate us. So try to understand that. Try to not be stupid. I'm tired of low IQ people, and I'm tired of having to pander to the low IQ to get them to get on board with shit that's sensible. So, smarten the fuck up.